Good evening, friends. This evening I'm going to read a pathworking for you called The Castle of Lord and Lady Bercilak. Excuse my pronunciation if it's wrong. I've never heard these words being spoken, just read. So from this book, Arthurian Magic, A Practical Guide to the Wisdom of Camelot, by John and Kathleen Matthews with Virginia Chandler. This is the second pathworking in a series of 3. The first was entitled The Challenge of the Green Knight. So if you haven't done that pathworking, you might want to do that first. And if you need the link, just send me a message. This is the second one, The Castle of Lord and Lady Bercilak. So I'm just going to read, first of all, a little bit of background information, and then there'll be a little bit of ritual, tiny bit of ritual, and then I will get into the pathworking. So, Lord and Lady Bercilak. Gawain's hosts for this part of his journey are mysterious and tantalizing. They are familiar and yet completely unknown to him. Lord Bercilak is a mighty hunter. Indeed, he is at the forefront of Gawain's quickening. First entering Arthur's court as the Green Knight, Bercilak is clearly a forest spirit, a face of the green man that both frightens and excites. Gawain, the seeker, now meets the Green Knight in the guise of Lord Bercilak, and is granted a short time of what he hopes is a respite from the challenge that awaits him at the Green Chapel. Within the walls of Castle Bercilak, the Lord and Lady are poised to continue their testing of Gawain. Lord Bercilak will do so in a game of gift exchanges, and Lady Bercilak will tempt Gawain's sense of chivalry. The gifts of the forest. The gift exchanges between Gawain and his hosts are vital clues as to how to champion this magical threshold and proceed onward to the Green Chapel for the final test. Between Gawain and Lady Bercilak, exchanges are made of sweet kisses, although Gawain resists his more primal sexual urges. And he is rewarded with a magical talisman that will protect him from the Green Knight's axe blade. In stark contrast, Lord Bercilak offers the fruits of his daily hunts to Gawain, while Gawain playfully offers the innocent kisses of his game with Lady Bercilak to his host. The specific animals that Lord Bercilak offers to Gawain are worthy of note, with some recognition of the symbolism as well. The hind, fast, quick, and alert. With a certain shyness and elusive, this creature is almost a mirror of Lady Bercilak and her approaches to Gawain while he is at Castle Bercilak. The fox, clever trickster of the forest. Gawain will have to become like the fox in order to survive the final challenge with the Green Knight. The boar, mighty and strong. The boar should be respected, and the hunter must be cautious in order to champion this beast. Gawain will do well to heed all wisdom as he faces the Green Knight again. We are met to convene the midwinter court of Arthur the Great. Let us name and proclaim each of the four hallows that together make up the innermost heart of the mysteries. In the north, we name and proclaim the hallow of the stone. Let it be the foundation upon which we stand and upon which our mysteries are founded. In the east, we name and proclaim the hallow of the sword. Let it become for us that which guards and protects us, so long as we use it rightly. In the south, we name and proclaim the hallow of the spear or the wand. Let it become for us that which pierces the darkness and brings light to us all. In the west, we name and proclaim the hallow of the cup. Let it become a grail to us all, that we may drink from it only truth. Let us joyfully proclaim the four hallows, present and active, in perpetual offering at this table, which is made according to the mysteries of Merlin. Let us remember that when the company is met together, the mysteries are enacted. Hail to the hallows. The circle is complete. All are seated at the round table in the hall of Arthur the Blessed. We declare the court of the mysteries active in this realm of Middle-earth. So make yourselves comfortable, ready now to do the pathworking. Close your eyes. Before you, upon a wall of clean and polished white stone, hangs a tapestry. The thread is polished and shining. The tapestry is simple, a wooden door with an ornate handle of gold. The tapestry seems alive with music, movement, and magic. And you reach towards it, focusing on the golden latch. You are not surprised to feel the cool touch of the precious metal. You turn the knob slowly to the right and hear a satisfying click as the door begins to open. You venture out from your safe and warm abode into the chilled and frosty outdoors. It is near dawn with a crisp wind from the north, and in the east the winter sun is rising above the horizon in a fountain of magnificent red, orange, and pink. The sun slowly climbs into the sky as the distant lights of Camelot are soon enveloped and fade in the morning light. The silvery starlight that was dancing in the sky is gone in the blink of an eye. When the sound of raised voices reaches your ears, you pause to listen more closely and then begin to walk towards the voices. A path upon the frozen earth beneath your feet becomes clear after your first few steps. Within moments, it seems, a walled city as magnificent and brilliant as the morning sky itself unfolds on a hill before you. As you step forward once more, you feel a slight shift in the earth beneath you, and behold, you stand at the gate of Arthur's winter court at Camelot. The gates are open wide with many folk gathered close by. A tall, sturdy youth in polished armor sits astride a mighty war horse that stamps and snorts, shaking its head with anxious energy. The young knight places his gloved hand upon the horse's neck, whispering soothing words that you cannot quite hear, and the beast responds with a sigh and a shudder, stilling its restless hooves. The crowd parts slightly as you see Arthur approach the young knight, and as the two speak quietly, you now recognize the youth as Gawain. Then they brought him his shield, which was of bright red, with the pentangle painted thereon in gleaming gold, a sign that Solomon set erewhile as betokening truth. A figure with 5 points, where each line overlaps the other, and nowhere hath it beginning or end. Therefore he bare the pentangle on shield and surcoat, as truest of heroes and gentlest of knights. Taking the bright red shield in hand, Gawain bows his head first to Arthur and then to his fellow knights. You realize with a tinge of sadness that this is a time of departure and farewell. But before you can dwell too long upon the emptiness of goodbyes, Gawain's voice speaks sharply to his steed. Away, Gringolet! The war horse responds with a leap through the winter gates as sparks dance around his hooves. As Gringolet gallops away from the gates, you feel a slight tremor in the earth beneath your feet, and the scene before you shifts and transforms. You watch from a distance as Gawain travels onward and on, over brook and field, through bog and brush, in frozen rain and snow, always onward with a raised head and fiercely searching eyes. You follow Gawain and Gringolet into a dark forest that looms before you and becomes aware of a dwelling within a moat, above a lawn, on a mound, surrounded by many mighty trees that stand round the moat. 'Twas the fairest castle that ever a knight owned, built in a meadow with a park all about it, and a spiked palisade, closely driven, that encloses the trees for more than 2 miles. Gawain lifts off his helmet and you find your voice joined with his as you and he cry together, I beseech you, grant me fair hostel. Silence is the reply from the castle. But then you hear a distant ringing of bells, and the image of a chapel gently touches your mind. Gawain clucks to his steed, pricks Gringolet with his golden spurs, and rides gaily towards the great gate, bringing you swiftly to the bridge end. The bridge is drawn up and the gates close shut. The walls are strong and thick, so that they might fear no tempest. The walls are set deep in the water and rise aloft to a wondrous height. The gate drops with barely a sound, and within you behold a high hall with its tower and many windows with carven cornices and chalk-white chimneys on the turreted roofs that shine fair in the winter sun. And everywhere, thickly scattered on the castle battlements, are pinnacles, so many that it seems as if they were all wrought out of paper, so white is it. You see Gawain and Gringolet ride into the courtyard, where the young knight dismounts and the steed is led away. You follow, taking deep breaths of the crisp, pine-scented air. You are led into a great hall, festively decorated, where many folk are feasting and dancing. Before the hearth where the fire burns, they have made ready a chair for Gawain, and you are seated close by. Your chair is hung about with cloth and fair cushions. Serving men set up a table on trestles, cover it with a fair white cloth, and set thereon salt cellar and napkin and silver spoons. The folk serve you and Gawain courteously, with many dishes seasoned of the best, a double portion. An older lady approaches your table holding a silver platter. She is wrinkled with age, her mouth showing many ages of laughter, whilst her brow is lined with the passing of many Yuletides. Her deep eyes twinkle as she places the platter on the table before you and speaks in a melodic voice. Partake of the sustenance and life of the forest, the hind for speed and quickness, and the mighty boar for strength and will. She nods to the platter. Upon it are generous portions of boar and venison, surrounded by nuts, berries, fruits, and baked breads. Some broiled on the embers, some sodden, some stewed, and savoured with spices, with all sorts of cunning devices to your taste. You partake of the feast, the food filling your mind, body, and spirit, the warmth of fire and festival, raising your spirits high. A man now approaches your table, a large and gallant man. He is dressed in deep reds and greens, and around his shoulders is a cloak of magnificent fur. Upon his brow is a crown of holly, thinly woven, and among the leaves are stars of silver. He bows to you, and you see now in his hands a mantle made of deep reddish fur, the pelt of Reynard for wiliness and cunning on your path. He steps behind your chair and drapes the mantle of warm, soft fox fur upon your shoulders. Tingling begins in your neck and then spreads to your arms, hands, torso, and in the distance you hear a bell once more ringing and ringing, as the image of a chapel again forms in your mind. The hunter leaves you with another bow and encourages you to continue your feasting. The music changes into a slow, almost sad tune with the steady beating of a drum in the distance. You see before you now a beautiful lady, tall and stately, dressed in the finest of dresses, her brow draped with a circlet of holly and silver, much like the hunter lord's. She bows to you, and you see in her hands a girdle of deep green. She steps behind you and gently ties the girdle around your waist, encouraging you to rise from your chair with a gesture of her hands. You do so, and she kneels before you, belting the girdle securely. The girdle of the lady for courage and protection on this journey, she says to you as she stands. Sit, eat, be merry. You are safe here. After you have eaten and drunk your fill, the lights within the hall begin to dim. The fires within the great fireplaces diminish to glowing coals, and the guests begin to fade from the room. You find yourself at the doors once again, facing the courtyard that is now dusted in a light snow. You silently thank the lordly ones, the folk of the lake, for this vision. At the edge of the courtyard, you see a path. With a step, you are once again upon this familiar path and walking towards your own safe haven. With a few more deep breaths and strong beats of your heart, the path shifts slightly beneath your feet, and you are safely within your own world and in your own time. We have borne witness to the mysteries of the court of Arthur, and have stood in the presence of the Hallows. Let us now honour them as we close this convening of the mysteries. Let the Grail be borne hence, remembering that it remains operative in the temple, not made by human hands. Let the spear or wand be borne hence, remembering that it remains operative in the temple not made by human hands. Let the sword be borne hence, remembering that it remains operative in the temple not made by human hands. Let the stone be borne hence, remembering that it remains operative in the temple not made by human hands. We give thanks to all those whom we invited to attend upon these mysteries, those named and unnamed, known and unknown, seen and unseen. I hope you enjoyed the Pathworking and that you'll join me again soon for another Pathworking as we complete the story of Gawain at the Green Chapel. Goodbye for now.